If you've reached your 60s, chances are you've spent most of your life working hard, raising a family, looking after others, and doing what needed to be done. And now, as you step into this new chapter, whether you call it retirement, your second act, or simply, finally, my time, something incredible starts happening. You realize that life isn't about chasing more anymore. It's about choosing better. But here's the truth that nobody really talks about. Sometimes living better means letting go. Not adding more to your already full plate, but taking things off it, the habits, beliefs, and pressures that just don't serve you anymore. In this video, we'll explore 9 things you should consider leaving behind after 60. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because you deserve more joy, more peace, and more freedom in this chapter of your life. These insights come from over a decade of working with incredible people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond who've shown me what truly matters in the end. Stay with me until the final point, because it might completely change how you wake up tomorrow morning. Are you ready to create a retirement that actually feels good? Type "ready" in the comments if you're open to letting go of what's holding you back. 1. Stop saving out of fear. The first thing to leave behind after 60, stop saving money out of fear. I know that might sound strange at first. After all, saving is a habit many of us were raised with. Save for a rainy day, put something aside for emergencies. And for most of your life, that mindset served you well. But at a certain point, especially after 60, saving driven by fear can actually start holding you back from the very life you saved for. Think about it this way. The whole purpose of saving money was to take care of your future self. It was a tool to prepare for the life you wanted to live later. But what happens when later is now? What happens when you've saved enough, your financial needs are covered, and yet you still feel terrified to spend a dime? I met a gentleman who had over $2 million in retirement accounts. No debt, a paid-off home, and more than enough to last the rest of his life. Yet every time his wife suggested taking a vacation, buying a camper they dreamed about, or even going out for a nice dinner, he would immediately tense up. What if something happens, he'd say. What if we need that money later? So I gently asked him, what if you never use it? What if later never comes the way you expect it to? That question stayed with him. And maybe it's staying with you too. Saving money matters, but at some point, you have to trust the life you've built. You have to give yourself permission to enjoy it, to take the trip, buy the gift, create the memory. Not recklessly, not without thought, but definitely without guilt. If you've planned well and your basic needs are covered, the money you saved isn't just for emergencies. It's for living. It's for connection. It's for joy. So today, I offer you this shift. Instead of constantly asking, what if I run out? Start asking, what's worth spending on while I still can? Your time is now. Not someday. Not eventually. Now. Have you been holding back from spending on something meaningful? Share what you've been wanting to do in the comments. Sometimes just saying it out loud is the first step. 2. Stop spending without joy. The second thing to leave behind after 60. Stop spending on things that don't actually bring you joy. Now that you've given yourself permission to spend, make sure you're spending on the right things. Too often we fall into patterns, buying out of habit, guilt, or obligation. We try to keep up appearances, please others, or fill some empty space we haven't taken time to understand. But if you stop and really look, how much of your spending actually makes you happy? I talked with a woman in her early 70s who told me she used to spend thousands every year on clothes she never wore, gifts she felt pressured to give, and gadgets she bought just because they were on sale. But the one purchase she remembered most vividly? A $600 flight to surprise her sister on her birthday. They laughed, cried, stayed up late sharing memories, and that weekend meant more to her than all those shopping trips combined. That's the difference between just spending and spending well. After 60, your money should align with what you truly value. Maybe that's travel. Maybe it's contributing to your grandchildren's education. Maybe it's weekly dinners with friends or that new reclining chair that helps your back feel better. Whatever it is, spend on that. Let go of the things that feel heavy, meaningless, or rushed. Let go of spending that comes from guilt, fear, or pressure to impress. You don't owe anyone an explanation for how you choose to enjoy your life. And remember, joy doesn't always come with a price tag. Sometimes the richest moments are the simplest ones. Sitting on the porch with someone you love, sending a handwritten letter, or walking in nature without your phone. Before you spend, Ask yourself, is this helping me live the life I want? Or is it just noise? Spend with intention. Spend with heart. Because the goal isn't to have less or more, it's to have meaning. What's one purchase you've made that brought you genuine joy? Share in the comments. Your example might inspire someone else to rethink their spending. 3. Stop trading time for money. The third thing to leave behind after 60. Stop trading your time for money unless it still brings you meaning. For most of your life, time and money have been tightly connected. You worked for a paycheck. You earned your living by showing up, putting in the hours, doing the job, even when it was hard, even when it was thankless. And that was necessary. It's how you built your life. But now you're in a different chapter. And in this chapter, time is your most precious currency. Ask yourself honestly, are you still working because you love it or because you're afraid to stop? Does your job give you purpose or does it just keep you busy? I'm not saying you should retire just because you've turned 60. If you still find joy in your work, if it gives you energy, structure, and connection, keep doing it. But do it by choice, not by habit or fear. A man I knew had been a high school teacher for over 30 years. When he turned 62, people kept asking him, "When are you going to retire?" His answer was simple, "When I stop loving it." So he kept teaching until 67. Then one morning, he woke up and felt it. It was time. And he walked away with peace in his heart, not regret. That's what I wish for you. But I also see the other side. People who stay in jobs they don't enjoy simply because they don't know who they are without that role. People afraid to slow down because they've never been given permission to just be. Here's the truth. You can always earn more money, but you can never earn more time. Once today is gone, it's gone, and no paycheck can buy it back. So if your work still fulfills you, keep going with pride. But if it drains you, if it holds you back from the life you want to live, it might be time to let it go. You've traded time for money long enough. Now it's time to trade time for meaning. Are you still working? Tell us in the comments whether it's by choice or habit. Sometimes naming it helps clarify what you really want. 4. Stop delaying experiences. The fourth thing to leave behind after 60. Stop putting off experiences you've always wanted. How many times have you said, "I'll take that trip someday," or "I'll learn that skill next year," or "I'll start that adventure when things settle down"? But here's the hard truth. Someday isn't a day on the calendar. And for many people, someday never comes. I spoke with a couple who had dreamed for years of driving cross-country in an old Airstream trailer. They had the money. They had the time. But year after year, they kept saying, "Next summer." Then one winter, the husband had a health scare. Nothing life-threatening, but enough to make them pause. And that was the moment they realized they had been waiting for permission that would never come. So they packed up, hit the road, and 6 months later told me it was the best decision they'd ever made. Not because every day was perfect, but because they finally did it. That's the power of taking action. So I want to ask you, what's something you've been putting off? A trip? A hobby? A visit with an old friend? A letter you keep meaning to write? Why not now? You don't need to wait for full retirement to start living. You don't need everything to be perfect. And you don't need anyone else to say it's okay. Because here's something most people don't realize until it's too late. Work can be an excuse. Routine can be an excuse. Even planning can be an excuse. Behind the waiting, there's often fear. Fear of change. Fear of doing something new. Fear of finally prioritizing yourself. But what if this year you let go of waiting? What if you gave yourself permission to start living now? Not in 5 years. Not when the timing is right. But now. You're not too old. It's not too late. And you are absolutely allowed to make memories that feel like magic, no matter your age. The world is still full of wonder. You just have to say yes. What's one experience you've been putting off that you could take action on this month? Drop it in the comments. Putting it in writing makes it more real. 5. Stop neglecting your health. The fifth thing to leave behind after 60. Stop neglecting your health. I want to say this with love, because I know health can be a sensitive topic, but it's one we have to talk about. Many people think of retirement in terms of how many years they might have left. 15 years, 25 years, maybe more. But the better question is, how many healthy years do you have left? Because without your health, real, lasting health, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. It doesn't matter how many trips you've planned or how beautiful your retirement home is. If you don't have the energy or ability to enjoy it, it all starts to slip away. Let me ask you, Would you rather have $20 million and feel sick, tired, and in pain every day? Or would you rather have just $1 million but feel vibrant, strong, and full of life? Most people, when they really think about it, would choose the second option. But strangely, many of us live like we're chasing the first. Here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your entire life to feel better. You don't need to become a marathon runner or switch to a strict diet overnight. Start small. Start by walking a little more each day, by choosing water instead of soda, by stretching in the morning, or joining a local fitness class designed for people your age. Even light strength training with guidance can do wonders for your balance, energy, and independence. This isn't about losing weight or chasing youth. It's about keeping your freedom. It's about being able to play with your grandchildren, travel without pain, and wake up with energy instead of fatigue. Your body is your vehicle for the life you want. And just like any vehicle, it needs regular care. It needs maintenance. It needs love. So take care of yourself. Make that doctor's appointment you've been avoiding. Take that first walk around the block. Prepare one healthy meal this week, just one. Because health isn't about perfection. It's about momentum. And the best time to start is now. What's one small health habit you could start tomorrow? Share below. Your comment might inspire someone else to take that first step too. 6. Stop worrying about others' opinions. The sixth thing to leave behind after 60. Stop worrying about what other people think. Let's be honest. For most of our lives, we've been shaped by the expectations of others. We try to be the good parent, the loyal employee, the reliable friend. We follow the rules. We do what's expected. But at some point, you have to ask, who am I living for now? I had a client, a woman in her mid-60s, who loved art. All her life, she dreamed of taking a painting class. But she hesitated. What if I'm not good, she said. What if people think it's silly at my age? You know what I told her? So what if they do? She took the class, and it changed everything. Not because she became a famous artist, but because she finally gave herself permission to do something for her. No apologies, no explanations. Here's something powerful I want you to remember. The older you get, the more freedom you earn to stop caring about the noise around you. You want to wear bold colors? Do it. You want to travel alone? Do it. You want to say no to family gatherings that exhaust you? You have that right. And this isn't about being rude or self-centered. This is about living authentically, so you don't look back with regret. There's a book written by a hospice nurse named Bronnie Ware. In it, she shares the top regrets of people at the end of their lives. Do you know what the number one regret was? I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Let that sink in. Because when you live by other people's standards for too long, you begin to disappear from your own life. So today, release the pressure. Let go of the need to impress. Say what you mean. Do what you love. And allow yourself to be seen, fully, honestly, beautifully, just as you are. There is only one you. And it's never too late to show up for your own life. What's something you've always wanted to do, but worried what others might think? Share it with us. This community understands and supports you. 7. Stop consuming negative news. The seventh thing to leave behind after 60. Stop watching the doom and gloom, at least not every day. This one might surprise you. Let me be clear. I'm not saying you should bury your head in the sand. Staying informed is important. Being aware of the world around you is part of being a thoughtful citizen. But there's a difference between staying informed and being emotionally consumed. If you spend hours every day watching the news, no matter which channel, you might start to feel like the world is falling apart. And that constant stress, anxiety, and fear, it builds up. It wears on your body. It clouds your mind. It steals your peace. Here's something I often ask people. Have you ever met someone who said, after watching 3 hours of cable news every night, I feel so much better about life? Neither have I. But I've met plenty of people, dozens of them, who told me that once they stepped away from the nonstop news cycle, their mental health improved, their mood lifted. They were more hopeful, more present, more at ease. You see, most of the news you watch isn't designed to inform you. It's designed to keep your attention. And fear is a powerful hook. The question becomes, is that where you want to spend your attention? After 60, you start to realize that your attention is one of your most valuable resources, and you get to choose where it goes. You can focus on what's broken, or you can focus on what's still beautiful. There is still kindness in the world. There are still good people doing good things. There is still music, laughter, learning, growing, and love. So stay informed, yes, but not at the cost of your peace. Limit how much you take in. Turn off the television when you need to. Choose uplifting stories. Read from sources that respect your intelligence, not just your fear. And ask yourself, has watching this helped me take action? Has it improved my life? Or is it just making me feel helpless? Because after all the years you've lived, you deserve more than to sit in fear. You deserve peace. You deserve joy. And you deserve to spend your energy on things you can actually control. How has reducing negative news intake affected your mood? Share your experience. Your insight could help someone else find more peace. 8. Stop financial avoidance and obsession. The 8th thing to leave behind after 60. Stop ignoring your financial plan, but also stop obsessing over it. This is a delicate balance. On one side, you have people who avoid their finances completely. They say things like, "It's too overwhelming. I'll deal with it later." Or, "I don't even want to look at it." But here's the truth. Avoiding your financial plan doesn't make problems go away. It makes them grow in the dark. After 60, it becomes even more important to have a clear understanding of what your money is doing. How much income do you need each month? What happens if your health changes? Are you protected from the unexpected? You don't need to be an expert, but you do need a plan, one that gives you peace of mind. Now, let me speak to the other side, the people who only think about their finances. You know the type. Maybe you are one. They analyze every dollar. They ask, if I take a vacation, will that impact my tax efficiency? They delay joy because of a spreadsheet. Here's the problem with that approach. You didn't save and invest just to look at numbers on a screen. You did it to live. So yes, talk to your advisor. Check your accounts. Make sure the basics are covered. But then let go. Let your money do what it was meant to do. Support your life, not control it. A strong financial plan should give you confidence to say yes, not fear that keeps you frozen. I once told a client this, and it changed his entire perspective. The sign of a great retirement plan is not just a high account balance. It's a life well lived. So stop avoiding your finances out of fear. Stop obsessing over your finances out of anxiety. And start using your finances as a tool to build the life you want, one joyful, intentional decision at a time. Do you tend to avoid financial planning or obsess over it? Share which approach you're working to change. 9. Stop living like you have forever. The 9th and final thing to leave behind after 60. Stop living like you have forever. I say that not to scare you, but to invite you to live more fully. Because by the time we reach our 60s, most of us have been touched by loss. Maybe you've lost a parent, a sibling, a friend. Maybe someone you love deeply is no longer here. And in those quiet, sacred moments of grief, we're reminded of something we often forget. Life is not unlimited. We all know this in theory, but still we put things off. We wait for the right moment. We convince ourselves we'll get around to it. But the truth is, you never really know how much time you have left. And that makes today incredibly precious. I sometimes ask my clients a simple but powerful question. If you knew with absolute certainty that this was your last year, what would you do differently? Who would you call? What would you say? What would you stop tolerating? And what would you finally start doing? Most people can answer that question very quickly, but then they go back to living the same way they always have. So let me ask you, what's stopping you from doing some of that now? You don't need to wait for a diagnosis or a crisis to wake up. You can wake up today with full awareness of just how fleeting and beautiful life really is. You can forgive someone. You can start that journal. You can book the trip, take the class, plant the garden, or say, "I love you" before the moment slips away. And no, you can't do everything in one day, but you can begin. Because the point isn't to live in fear of death. The point is to live in respect for life, to honor this one wild, irreplaceable life that you still have. You are here. You are breathing. You have today. And that is enough reason to stop waiting and start truly living. What's one thing you would do if you knew this was your last year? Share in the comments. And then consider, what small step could you take toward that this week? Embrace your freedom. So there you have it, 9 things to leave behind after 60. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because you've earned the right to live more lightly, more freely, more intentionally. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about making space for peace, for joy, for presence. Space for what really matters. Let's take a moment to remember what we've covered today. Let go of saving out of fear. Let go of spending without joy. Let go of trading your time for money when your time is worth more. Let go of putting off experiences that make you feel alive. Let go of neglecting your health, your greatest asset. Let go of worrying what other people think. Let go of the constant noise of negativity. Let go of financial fear, but don't ignore your plan. And most of all, let go of the illusion that you have forever. Because the truth is, you have right now. And that is enough to begin. Before we close, I want to ask you something personal. What are you ready to let go of, starting today? Think about it. And if you feel comfortable, share your answer in the comments. You never know who else you might inspire just by speaking from the heart. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of your worth, your wisdom, or your possibilities, please share it with someone you care about. A friend, a sibling, a spouse, someone who may need this reminder too. At Wisdom Years, we believe aging isn't about slowing down. It's about showing up more fully than ever before. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, your heart, your trust. And above all, thank you for reminding the world that it's never too late to live a life filled with purpose, connection, and joy. We'll see you in the next video.